What's up, Wise Flyers? David here. We're going to talk about the best Chase airline credit cards that deserve a spot in your wallet. So I'm going to go through every single personal Chase airline credit card in this video. I'm going to go over some of the benefits as well as the best ways to use and leverage the miles that each one of these offer. So if you want to learn more about Chase airline credit cards, make sure you pay attention to the entire video because I'm going to talk about some Chase airline cards that almost nobody is talking about. Before I get started, I just want to mention one thing about airline credit cards. So these credit cards I'm going to talk about are considered co-branded credit cards, which means that the bank Chase, or it could be any bank, Citi, Amex, but the bank Chase in this video is partnered with all of these airlines. So what that means is that if you ever decide to cancel the credit card that you have, the airline miles that you have in your loyalty account are completely separate. They're completely separate entities. So if you ever decide to get rid of your card, your airline miles are in the account and the bank can't touch them. But there actually are some examples where they actually can claw back that bonus, but I'll go over that later on in the video. One other thing I'm going to mention is that a lot of the airline credit cards I'm going to talk about in this video, they have a business version of it as well. Not all, but most. And so I'm not going to go over the business cards in this video, just the personal. Let's get started. So the first cards we're going to talk about in this video are the Southwest Rapid Rewards credit cards. So there's three of them. There's the Plus, the Premier, and the Priority. All of these have annual fees, and I don't think they're worth going for unless the sign-up offer is around $60,000 or higher. Currently, at the time of filming this video, sign-up offer is 40,000 Rapid Reward points for each one of these. So if you're going for a Southwest credit card, I recommend waiting until it's higher. So first, let's start with the Plus card, which has the lowest annual fee of $69, and we'll work our way up to the Priority. So the earning potential with the Southwest Rapid Rewards Plus card is you're gonna get 2 points per dollar Southwest purchases, 1 point per dollar everywhere else, and you get a 3,000 anniversary bonus points every single year that you're going to pay that $69 annual fee. It has foreign transaction fees and is probably the worst Southwest card out of all Southwest credit cards. Next, let's talk about the Southwest Premier card. This card also 2 points per dollar with Southwest, 1 point per dollar everywhere else. A lot of similar benefits as the Plus card. Big difference here is that you're going to get a 6,000 Southwest Rapid Reward point bonus every single year that you pay the annual fee, and there's no foreign transaction fees, and you get elite qualifying miles for A-list status. And the annual fee is $99 with this one. Next up is the Southwest Priority card, which has an annual fee of $149, which may seem high, but you can actually get a lot more value out of this card compared to the other cards. Every year that you have the card open, you're going to get 7,500 bonus points plus a $75 travel credit each year. You also get 4 upgraded boardings, 20% back on drinks and Wi-Fi, and 2 points per dollar on Southwest purchases, as well as hotel or Rapid Reward hotel and car rental partner purchases. 1 point per dollar everywhere else. No foreign transaction fees. So you're getting a lot more value out of this card compared to the other cards. Assuming you're going to fly Southwest, because just with that $75 credit alone, you're only going to be $5 more annual fee than the lowest one, the Plus card, of $69. Personally, I love Southwest Airlines and used to fly them a lot when I used to live in New York. So went to Jamaica with them, to Texas, Florida, a bunch of different places. And they're great. The only issue with it is if you're traveling with a family is that it's a first come, first serve on the flight. There's no designated seats. Basically, depending on when you check in or if you get early bird seating, which is something that you would pay for, then you could get to the front of the line of the people to get onto the flight, and you get to pick whichever seat you want. So there were a few times actually where my wife and my daughter were separated from me because we got on the plane late. And probably one of the best features of Southwest Airlines is that you get 2 free check bags, $50 each per passenger on the flight, which is kind of unheard of now that every airline is nickel and diming, not only for check bags, but for carry-ons, personal items. Now, when it comes to using Southwest Rapid Reward points, there's really no way to leverage these points. The reason why is because Southwest is dynamic, which means that whatever the cash price is of the flight is going to equal the points price, basically 1.5 to 1.6 cents per point. So you could do the calculation there of however much the cash flight is and then convert it over to points, or you can just go on the website. It's really easy to search. The best ways to take advantage of Southwest are the deals that they offer. So if you're looking to go to Hawaii, which is probably one of the furthest places you could fly to with Southwest, then that's probably one of the best ways to use it. And of course, I can't talk about Southwest without mentioning the Southwest Companion Pass. Basically, it's a buy one, get one free ticket. You bring a companion with you wherever you want. You just pay the taxes. This could be for cash flights as well as points prices. So I'll have two links down in the description below, one for a more complete review of the Southwest credit cards, as well as a complete guide to the Southwest Companion Pass. Before I mention the next card, I just want to mention that I just moved into a brand new house. I'm exhausted. It's like a couple days after moving into the house, and I just wanted your opinion of what you think I should do with the background. I have a whole room designated to filming, so it's my studio, and I was thinking of making this a little nicer rather than just filming on a wall. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Next card on the list is going to be the Chase United Explorer card, one of 3 United cards I'm going to talk about. So if you are planning on getting this card, I highly recommend getting it now. I'm filming this in March 2020. Sign-up offer is 60,000 miles after spending $3,000 in 3 months. Annual fee of $95 waived the first year. Reason why it's a good time to get it, because these bonuses are going up and down throughout the year. $60,000 is probably the highest public offer you'll find for this card. After this limited time offer, it's going to go down to $40,000. So a brief overview of this card is you're going to get 2 miles per dollar spent on United purchases, restaurants, and hotel stays. And you're also going to get the free first check bag, which could be around $30 per bag per person per way. So that could be some savings right there. And probably one of my favorite features of this card is the 2 United passes or Club Lounge passes that you get every single year that you pay that $95 annual fee. But you're going to get it that first year without having to pay the annual fee. Take this pass, go over to the United Club Lounge and hang out, get some free food, free drinks, free Wi-Fi, and just chill until your next flight. Next is the United Club card. So this is the premium version of the Explorer card. Annual fee, $450. Currently, the sign-up offer, March 2020, is a 75,000 mile sign-up offer after spending $3,000 in 3 months. And as opposed to getting just 2 free Club Lounge passes, airport lounge passes with the Explorer card, with this one, you get an unlimited yearly membership, so you could go into the lounge whenever you want. You also get 2 free check bags, so that's $60 in savings right there, and you're gonna get 1.5 miles per dollar spent on every single purchase. Obviously, if you fly United often, then this is definitely a card for you because you're gonna get a lot more value out of this compared to the Explorer card. So if you fly 5 times or more on United Airlines per year, then this is definitely the card for you. Now there's a third United card that almost nobody talks about, and for good reason. It's the United Travel Bank card. And this card is really bad. I don't recommend applying for it. So currently it offers $150 in United Travel Bank cash after you spend $1,000 in 3 months, no annual fee. You're gonna get 2% Travel Bank cash on airline tickets purchased from United, 1.5% on all purchases. And you get 25% back on in-flight purchases, so with United. So the reason why this card is really interesting is because you're not getting United miles with this card. You're getting Travel Bank cash, which basically you could use it for United flights. So you're not, with United miles, you're able to get more leverage when booking certain flights, which I'll go over in a minute. But with Travel Bank cash, it's just basically you're getting cash that could only be used for United flights. Probably one of the best features of this card is that you're gonna get 25% off in-flight purchases. But if you're gonna fly United often enough to try to take advantage of 25% in-flight purchases, you might as well go for the Explorer card or the Club card. I could potentially see this as a downgrade option, but in terms of downgrade option, it doesn't really even make sense to get this card for that as well. So maybe I'm missing something here. Let me know if you know anybody who's gotten the Travel Bank card. I just don't see the point of it at all. So now let's talk about some of the ways that you can leverage these United miles. So there's the excursionist perk, which is a little too complicated to go over in this video, but basically if you fly from one destination, from one region to another region, you could get a free stopover. I'm not gonna go over it in this video, but that's probably one of the best ways to take advantage of it, and you don't have to pay for that free stopover. And for 60,000 miles, you could get a one-way flight to Europe in Polaris class, which is the first class of United. It's super fancy, so if you've never flown premium class before, then this is probably a good opportunity because 60,000 is a pretty good price, I would think, for a business class flight over to Europe. One of the cool things about United Miles is that if you were to go to Israel, it's considered Europe. So the price you would pay to go to, let's say, London, which is one of the closest parts of Europe, it would cost the same amount of miles to go to Tel Aviv, Israel. So there are some good routes. You could go from Newark, New Jersey, if you're on the East Coast, go all the way to Tel Aviv. Or if you want to go to London, you could do that. And there's a lot of different options to get to Europe in Polaris class for 60,000 miles, or if you just want to go economy and get a round trip for 60,000 miles, you could do that too. And the United website is really easy to look for flights. You just have to look for the Saver Award availability, and that'll be the cheapest flights that you could get depending on wherever you want to go. Also, if you want to go to South America, northern South America, probably anywhere from Lima, Peru, and north, you could get a flight from anywhere 20,000 miles for economy, a one-way from the US, or if you want to do business class, it would be 35,000 miles one-way business class to Lima or Quito, Ecuador, Bogota, Colombia. There's a lot of different options if you want to go to South America. Before we get into the next cards, I just want to give you a nugget of knowledge here. So if you get one of these airline cards, which makes complete sense to get the first year, you're going to get that sign-up offer worth $400, $500, $600, and you're using some of the benefits, waived annual fee. Whatever the case is, then year 2, year 3, year 4, you're looking at it, it may not make sense. You may not be using the airline as much because you moved to a different airport, state, kind of like I did when I moved to South Carolina from New York, or you just feel like you're not going to be using the benefits of the card and it's not worth paying that annual fee. So what's the best option here? I'll go over a few different options of what you could do. So if you're paying an annual fee on an airline card just to keep the miles from expiring, there's much better ways to go about this. So as I mentioned before, your airline miles are completely separate from your credit card, completely separate entities. So if you decide to cancel your airline card, your miles will be in the account. Now, sometimes the representative over the phone will use some semantics and scare tactics and say that if you're okay with canceling your card or whatever, and then you're going to lose whatever miles you earn in the last statement. So keyword here, they're going to talk about the last statement, not all your miles in general. But before you decide to cancel the card, see if there's a downgrade option instead, because anytime you cancel a card, you're going to get rid of your history, age history, which affects your credit score. Also, your credit limit will drop as well, which will affect your credit score there with credit utilization. And it also affects the relationship you're creating with Chase, because Chase offers a lot of great cards, and if they see that you're just canceling all the cards after the sign-up offer, then they're going to think that you're a risk and you're not in it for the long-term relationship. So after you explore your downgrade options, if there aren't any, then if you're going to cancel the card, the best way to do this is if you have another Chase credit card, you ask the representative to transfer your credit limit from the airline card that you want to get rid of over to your other Chase card. This way your overall credit limit stays the same with Chase, and it'll help you with your credit utilization. I think the minimum amount of credit limit you can leave on a card with Chase or most banks is $1,000. So if you transfer all of your credit limit over to that other card that you have with Chase, leave $1,000, then you could close it out if that's the route you want to go. I recommend seeing when your airline miles are going to expire. It could be 18 months, it could be 3 years. It depends on when those miles are going to expire, and then see about some other methods to keep those miles alive. Basically, any activity in the account, whether miles out or miles going in, are going to reset the clock for your miles to last another length of whatever the expiration period is. One of my favorite ways is if you go to magsformiles.com, you buy a magazine subscription, anyone for like 300-400 miles. depending on which airline you have, and then that resets the clock for your miles to not expire. You could also use shopping portals. There's a lot of different methods. I'll have a link to a video talking all about that down in the description below. And the next 3 Chase Airline credit cards we're going to talk about all have 6-figure sign-up offers. First, let's talk about the British Airways Visa Signature Card. So this card is offering a 50,000 Avios point sign-up offer after spending 3,000 in 3 months. Then you get an additional 50,000 points after spending $20,000 in your first year. You're also going to get 3 Avios points for every dollar spent on British Airways, Aer Lingus, also Iberia, and then 2 Avios points per dollar spent on hotel purchased directly with the hotel, and 1 point everywhere else. And there are a few other benefits with this card: no foreign transaction fees, and if you want to fly to Europe by March 31st, 2020, then you're gonna get 10% off all British Airways flights that start in the US but could actually go anywhere. And if you spend $30,000 on this card within a calendar year, then you'll get the British Airways version of the companion pair called the Travel Together ticket. So this could be good. So now let's talk about a lot of the really good ways to use British Airways Avios points. There's actually a lot of good benefits and sweet spots with British Avios points. So if you want to fly in the US and you see some American airline flights that may be a little too expensive, they're actually a lot cheaper with British Airways, and you'll still be flying on American airline metal. So any flights under 1,150 miles on American Airlines and Alaska Airlines will only cost you 7,500 Avios points. And if you were to actually use American Airline miles, it would cost 12,500. So you're saving 5,000 miles right there by using British Airways Avios points if you plan on doing short-haul domestic flights. An example here would be New York to Chicago, Miami to Dallas, Los Angeles to Vegas, and there's a bunch of other ones you could use. Google Maps to see how many miles it is from airport to airport and see if it's under 1,150. And probably one of the cheapest options to get to Madrid, Spain, and if you want to go anywhere in Europe, you just go to Madrid first. So from Chicago, New York, or Boston, it'll cost you 20,000 Avios points to get there, about $120 in taxes. But you could, if you decide to go off-peak, it could be 17,000 Avios points per way. And then once you get to Madrid, you could take a cheap flight to anywhere in Europe that you really wanted to go, but this is probably one of the cheapest options to get to Europe. And the next 2 cards are very similar to the British Airways Avios points card. So next one is the Aer Lingus signature card, which is going to offer a 50,000 point sign-up offer after spending 3,000 in 3 months. You get that extra 50,000 points when you spend $20,000 within the first card member year. You're also going to get 3 Avios points per dollar spent on Aer Lingus, British Airways, Iberia purchases, 2 Avios points per dollar spent on hotel, booked directly with hotel, and then 1 point per dollar everywhere else. And just like the British Airways card, $95 annual fee. And then the Iberia Visa Signature Card, same thing as the other 2. You're going to get a 100,000 point sign-up offer split into 2 different tiers, with the 50,000 after $3,000 in 3 months, and then another 50,000 after spending 20,000 within the first year. $95 annual fee, and same earning structure as the other 2. So even though Aer Lingus, Iberia, and British Airways each have their own separate loyalty account, but they use the term Avios, you can actually transfer your points. Let's say you get the Aer Lingus or Iberia card for the 100,000 point sign-up offer, or you're using it for whatever spending, you could transfer those Avios over to British Airways and have access to more partners and more options for flights. And if you want to learn more about Chase credit cards and strategies, you could click this playlist over here, or you could click this airline credit card video over here, and I'll see you in the next video.